Hello everyone, my name is Seth, and today I'm going to give you my review of Spider-Man 2. The first Spider-Man quickly became one of my favorite games of all time. I absolutely loved it. I wanted to do every single thing I could in the game. I've beaten it multiple times. I absolutely love it. I can't get enough of the first game. It's not a perfect game, but I absolutely love it. I absolutely love Miles Morales too. So I was super excited for Spider-Man 2, and it did not disappoint. But before I go any farther, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Let's go ahead and jump in and start with the gameplay, since that's the main part of a game. And I'm glad to say that they literally have improved on every aspect of gameplay. The combat is super familiar. You play the other two games, you know what's going on here, but it's very fast paced, and it's very responsive. I would say that the enemies in this game are tougher than they have been in Miles Morales and Spider-Man PS4, but they give you the tools to handle it. You have these abilities to kind of counter and make an impact on the enemies, and it makes it really fun kind of managing sometimes the big groups of enemies you have to fight. The combat's a big part of this game, and they nail it. It's a lot of fun. One change that they have made is that the weapon wheel, the gadget wheel, is gone. It is not here, and all of the gadgets are mapped to R1 and the face buttons, and then some of the Venom powers for Miles, or the symbiote powers, or like the mechanical arms, stuff like that for Peter, that's mapped to L1 and the face buttons like it was in Miles Morales. The web shooters are just on R1, so you don't have to switch between anything like in the weapon wheel, which is nice. I will say I do miss the gadget wheel just a little bit. Maybe I mostly miss the impact webs. I really loved those from the last couple of games, but I understand why they did what they did. I saw an interview with Brian Intar, and he said he really wants to keep it balanced. He wants there to be a challenge, and if you gave Spider-Man all of those gadgets along with everything else they added, it might be a little bit too easy. So I understand where he's coming from there. The only thing that took me a little bit to get used to in the combat is the new parrying system. They added this in so you're not just dodging, you can block and parry, and it took me a little bit to get used to it. Honestly, it probably took me about 3/4 of the way through the game to get used to it, and even then, I still messed it up a little bit, because when I see the yellow indicator that turns red, my first initial thought is just circle to dodge, and that's not what you need to do. Some of these, it really requires you to parry, and so you really kind of have to train yourself on what to look for. The boss fights in this are very good. This time around, they have a health bar. You can tell how many phases of the fight they have on their health bar. It's really well done. I like this better than how they handled them in the first couple of games. I didn't think I would at first, but I ended up really liking the way they handled this here. And there's a few more boss fights here in this game than in the others, and each one of them is really good. And there's one part in the game where you kind of have like boss fight after boss fight, and it's really cool. It was kind of unexpected, and I was really on the edge of my seat each time. And they definitely do a good job of testing your skills with the combat. The swinging is better than ever, and I'll say it, it makes you feel like Spider-Man. I mean, they just about perfected it in the first game, and it's even better here. It's smooth. It's everything you want. It's maybe the best traversal system in all of video games, and they just improved on it here. You get more speed, and just because of the speed here, it might make going back to Spider-Man PS4, even the remaster on the PS5, and going back to Miles Morales, it might make that a little bit difficult. You can get around the city so easily, so stylishly. It's so much fun just to swing around. And they've also added the web wings. That's a big feature they added. It works really well. The swinging is still the main form of traversal. However, you can get a long way with the web wings. I never relied too much on them, but I really enjoyed using them, especially when you're in these sections where there's not a ton of tall buildings to swing on, and especially when you're really trying to gain speed. They have these wind tunnels that you can go through, really pick up speed, and you have these vents that lift you up. It's really, really cool. It works perfectly together with the swinging, and this is absolutely a great addition. I'll also say that you level up here at a good pace. It did throw me off a little bit that maybe a couple of the things like the improved point launch I had to unlock again. That was maybe a little bit odd for me. I kind of wish you started the beginning of this game with everything you unlocked from the last one, but that's kind of a small nitpick. Like I said, you progress fast enough, and as long as you do some of the side missions, some of the random events, you take care of some of the crimes, you do that as you go along, you're not really going to be hurting for any upgrade points, either in your abilities or for getting the suits, any kind of gadgets. I think you'll be able to handle that just fine. I was never searching for any like the hero tokens or city tokens or anything like that. One highlight from the last two games that's also a highlight here is that the difference in the suits, it's incredible. Like, I love all the suits. There's not quite as many to choose from for each Spider-Man as there was in the first one, but it's close, and the addition of the suit styles really kind of puts that over the edge. I loved that because I really loved the red and black of the advanced 2.0 suit for Peter Parker. I loved the black and purple classic suit for Miles. Those were some of my favorites. There's just a lot of really good alternate colors and styles here, and I really appreciate that. There's a lot of detail that goes into these suits. Not all of the suits are good. There's some that I think are honestly pretty bad. Never ended up using them, but still there's a lot of detail there, and there's plenty of good suits to use, and I love all of the movie suits. Again, that's another place where you can see a ton of detail. The story here is really good, although I don't think I quite like it as much as the first one. The first one just had so much emotion, and just that fight at the end with Doc Ock, with him realizing that he knew that he was Spider-Man, like, that was just so good. The overall story was just incredible, facing up against Sinister Six. It was so good. It had so much emotion. This story is really good. Not quite as good. I think it's missing maybe some of the emotion, although they did a really good job of getting us to care about characters that maybe we didn't spend a lot of time with in the first couple of games, and they do a really good job of building relationships between different characters here. The story here had a huge scale, and it feels like something more out of like Spectacular Spider-Man or a show kind of like that. There were plenty of moments throughout the story where I was on the edge of my seat. A lot of the side missions and the side activities are pretty similar in terms of scale as the first couple of games. There's nothing groundbreaking here with the side content, but there was also no side content that kind of annoyed me or got on my nerves. And there was a couple in Miles Morales and in Spider-Man PS4. But I had fun the whole time. And like with Spider-Man PS4 and Miles Morales, I wanted to do everything in the game. The MJ missions are back here. They're pretty good. I mean, I think they're fine. There's, in theory, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just, you go from being Spider-Man to not being Spider-Man. But they did make some improvements here, and they definitely made her more capable. In terms of length, it took me 27 hours total to platinum the game. That's to everything in the game, 100% the story all the way, all the side missions, and then get the platinum trophy on top of it. So 27 hours total for that in getting the footage for this review. Yuri Lowenthal as Peter is incredible. This is one of the best performances in video games, definitely of this year, maybe of the last few years. He's just so good. Yuri is just about made to be Peter Parker, but he's just an incredible voice actor. He's able to bring so much emotion and weight, but he's also able to handle the lighter moments and kind of the witty, quippy banter of Spider-Man. It's his voice now who I hear in my head when I read Spidey comics. The changes that he's able to make to his performance when he's under the influence of the symbiote is nothing short of incredible. And Najee Jeter, who played Miles Morales, he's great again. He does such a good job of playing off of Yuri, and he's just really, really good. He does an amazing version of Miles. And I love the writing for both Spider-Man. I think Kraven and Venom both were good villains, and I really like what they did with the story here. They both are really intimidating, and that's exactly what you want from your villain. And Tony Todd as Venom is perfect casting. The visuals and the performance of this game is really good. Like, I really never had any visual glitches, and I never had any like texture pop-ins, and that's really impressive considering the speeds you were going through this map. I mean, you got an expanded map. It's about 2 times bigger than the original, and you can get across so fast, and I never saw any dips in the frame rate, never saw any texture pop-ins or anything like that. The character models look great, and the environment looks great. There's more cars on the street. There's more people walking on the sidewalks. The trees are more full. Looking through Central Park, it looks almost completely different from the first game. They also added some suit damage when you take damage during combat, and I love that. That's definitely a welcomed addition. And of course, you've seen it by now, but the fast travel and the character switching is incredible. It's almost instantaneous. I kind of feel like Insomniac is just showing off with what they can do here. This is really, really well done. But you can see the attention to detail in everything, especially when you get into photo mode. I also have to mention that the music is incredible. I've caught myself just walking around the house, just humming the theme to myself. Overall, I absolutely love this game. It was worth the wait. It's what I wanted. It met my expectations. I can't wait for what Insomniac does next, whether it be DLC or maybe they do another shorter game, kind of like what they did with Miles Morales, whether it be the next Spider-Man game eventually down the road, whether it be Wolverine. I'm excited for whatever they do next, and I can't wait for them to add in New Game Plus because I'll be right back in. Although the story might not be quite as good as the first one, I think they surpassed the first one in every single way. I highly recommend playing this game. I don't think you'll regret it. But that's it. That's my review of Spider-Man 2. Have you played this game? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments section below. I would love to have a conversation with you about it. We are getting closer and closer to 100 subscribers. It's so exciting. If you have not subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It would absolutely make my day. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. And I'll see you next time.